Welcome everyone to MRM Sports. I'm your host, Ronald M. What a terrible weekend. A terrible weekend if you're a Chelsea fan and a Liverpool fan, man. A terrible weekend, man. What a terrible game week 14. Definitely some shocker for both teams, man. But if you're a City fan, United fan, Man United fan, Newcastle fan, and Spurs fan and Arsenal fan, man. I mean, Spurs almost joined us in that. I was so ready to just comfort my loss with Spurs loss, but then, hey, they managed to pull a rabbit out of a hat, man, and get those 3 points out of a very stubborn Bournemouth. But nonetheless, let me just go through the results and then we talk football, man. The first game of the game was Leicester hosted Man City. Man City won that game 1-0. What a beautiful Kevin De Bruyne free kick, man. What a beautiful goal. And then, of course, Spurs versus Bournemouth. I mean, Spurs really fought back from a 2-0 down. I mean, Conte is a lucky guy. But Spurs won that game 3-2. Then Crystal Palace defeated Southampton 1-0. Chelsea were humbled away from home by Brighton. I mean, that was some, the result. When you watch your team play and then you feel like, yeah, we deserve that result. We deserve the beating. 4-1 defeat away to Brighton. I mean, that's a huge match for Brighton. Newcastle 4-0 winners against Aston Villa, man. I think Unai Emery can't wait to start his job, man. I mean, surely we've seen his team being defeated like that, and that's not a good result. Brentford played to a 1-0 draw against Wolves. At least Wolves is almost stopping the road now. Then also we had, Fulham versus Everton ended in a 0 draw. I guess this is a good point for Frank Lampard, because Everton were away from home. And then another shock on Saturday night. I mean, Leeds 2, Liverpool 1. I didn't see this one coming, man. A lot of people lost the money in this game, I can tell you that for now. Arsenal ran through Nottingham Forest 5-0, man. I think the Gunners they're back. I mean, after that midweek fiasco at PSV Eindhoven, man, that defeat away from home in the Europa League, I think they to really establish that they are still in the Premier League. They are still in the top spot, and they managed to regain the top spot with a 5-0 defeat of Nottingham Forest. And, of course, United won, West Ham 0. I think, man, David De Gea, and I have to put lift my hand up and say, Harry Maguire, a good game, like, especially in the dying embers of the game, was putting in titles, winning headers, and making sure that United keep a clean sheet. And De Gea also pulled some impressive saves. But nonetheless, man, let's begin with the shockers, really. Let's talk Chelsea. I mean, after watching the City game, I'm like, nah, let me focus on Chelsea now. Let me see what Graham Potter will do against a side he knows very well. But then, man, I mean, the first half, and I tuned in a bit late on the game. And when I tuned in, it was exactly the time when Thiago Silva was clearing a goal line clearance. I mean, that hit out over the bar. I mean, like, it was shocking. When you tune into a channel and then that's the first thing you see, and you're like, damn, what's going on? What's going on here? And then, yeah, I mean, from there it was just downhill. I mean, mistakes were made in the midfield. 2 own goals. I mean, in all honesty, man, it was a bad performance from Chelsea. Even though with chances and Sanchez had to pull off some saves for Brighton. But nonetheless, man, I think the rotating, it was a bit over the top by Potter. But for me, the biggest problem Chelsea had is the midfield. They have this, is this Zakaria or whatever his name, the loanee from Juventus. It's high time. After that performance, it's high time it comes to the midfield. Because to my understanding, it's a central defensive midfield. And we don't have one. And in that game, we didn't have one at all. I mean, that was mistake number 1 Potter did. Mistake number 2 is, for me, I think, in as much as it was time to drop Sterling, yes, it is. I think Sterling hasn't been Sterling from City in a long time. And definitely Chelsea hasn't really produced anything. But then, the rotation, we looked so blunt up front. I don't understand why, if you have Broja and Aubameyang on the bench, you decide to start Havertz as a false 9 or as a number 9. For me, Havertz is not that player. I'm quite not sure what kind of a player Havertz is. I still haven't figured him out. I know he's got some goals in him. He's got a beautiful header for us. But then, we need a number 9. I mean, and we have 2 on the bench. You are supposed to, for me, you should have started Broja in this game. I mean, it didn't start Broja in the Champions League, so it made no sense why today start Havertz. Rather start Broja, Havertz, and Pulisic, or Broja, Pulisic, and Mount up front. For me, because we needed Broja to start. But I think attack-wise, yes, with some chances saved. Maybe we're not clinical, but then the midfield, man. I don't know what. I think come January, after the World Cup, we have to sign a defensive midfielder. We should use whoever is part of. I know Chelsea have made some signings into the backroom staff. I mean, the technical director and staff. Whoever is there for Chelsea, they have to be watching the World Cup, looking for a holding midfielder. I think that's an area of key importance. If you don't sign a holding midfielder, then we can kiss our season goodbye in January. We need to make sure, even if we sign two. I know we still have Conte, but Conte is injury prone now more than ever. We need someone else. We need someone to compete with every midfielder. I think we need two midfielders, if we're being honest, man. We need a creative midfielder, because we've never really replaced Fabregas. We have never replaced that creative outlet. We've signed some players we can say are quote-unquote creative players, but then they haven't done it for us. We need someone like a Madison. I always say this. We need a Madison to come through, and we also need a defensive midfielder. I mean, we need to find someone who's going to just sit in and protect our back four. I mean, all the top teams have them. You think of City, Rodgers there. United, they have Casemiro now. Arsenal have Partey now. You think of even Liverpool, they have Fabinho, even though Fabinho is no longer good. Spurs have Hoiberg and Besuma. So we need someone of that mold, someone who just sit there and fall in love with the art of defending from midfield again, man. I think, but nonetheless, man, let me not waste too much time because it's so hard. Chelsea need to improve. We're now in 6th position. Even though we're in 6th, all hope is not lost, man. I think we're 3 points behind teams who are above us. So all hope is not lost. But we need to make sure, because I think with Arsenal next or in the few game weeks, the last thing I want as a Chelsea fan is Arsenal to humble us like they did preseason, man. We need to be sharp for this game. We need to show fight. We need to show hunger. And because I think we need a fast start. The way we're so chillaxed, the way we're so relaxed against Brighton, that first half was a concern for us. I mean, nonetheless, man, hey, that was a painful defeat. But we move on to another team which called a shocker, which is Liverpool. I mean, what was happening with Liverpool, man? I didn't personally, at home, I didn't see Liverpool losing to Leeds United, I'll be honest. And the fact that it has always been said that Virgil van Dijk has never lost a game at Anfield. I mean, you thought that record would continue, at least be it true. I mean, I saw Liverpool come back from a 2-0 down against Brighton. So when they went a goal down against Leeds, I thought for sure they're coming back. And then Salah gets a goal. You think, nah, that was just a mistake, because it was a horrendous mistake by Gomez and Alisson. I mean, that, you know, when things are going bad for you, even such simple balls, I mean, a back pass to keeper, there's supposed to be routine stuff, something you do. I'm sure we've seen Liverpool and all other teams do it over 100 times already. I'm sure they do it in the training sessions and stuff. But then for it to be a ball on the plate for Rodrigo, man, for just a tap in, and you can see the way Van Dijk was so relaxed. I mean, it's one ball. Or I think in your mind, or if you're Van Dijk in that situation, I think, okay, let me open space because Alisson is receiving the ball. Let me just make the pitch a bit wider for him to pick up a pass from the defense, and then we build again and go again. Man, that was a weird goal to give away. And of course, I mean, they come into the game, Salah gets his goal. I mean, Salah is slowly gaining his confidence. I mean, that's back-to-back games where Salah scored goals, so that's impressive on his side. But then, I mean, 89th minute, Leeds pull up the biggest upset for the weekend. I think this is the fact that they were home. Yes, the Chelsea defeat hurt, but then if a Liverpool fan at home against Leeds, you never expected a defeat. And against a team who has been on the ropes as of late, I mean, the coach is rumored to be. I think if he had lost that game convincingly, March would have been fired. That's my opinion. So for him to pull that win, that shocker for win against Liverpool, that was impressive, man. But yeah, Liverpool, you know, everyone keeps on saying Liverpool will be in the top 4. Everyone keeps on saying Liverpool will fight for the top 4 spot. But I think for me now, Liverpool won't make top 4. Unless if they've one of those seasons after the World Cup where they just run through every team in the Premier League. At this point in present time, I do not see Liverpool making top 4. I know people might be saying I'm reacting to, yeah, I am reacting to what I've been seeing with my own eyes. Even when Liverpool have won, they haven't been convincing. I mean, back-to-back defeats against Leeds United, back-to-back defeats against Nottingham Forest and Leeds. I mean, those are 6 points that every Liverpool fan, I'm sure, was expecting to win, especially after defeating City and West Ham. You think, okay, now with Leeds, Nottingham Forest and Leeds, let's get another 6 points and march on to top 4. And they've lost those games. I think for me, top 4 is done, man. But yeah, let's go to the teams who did well. Let me start with Newcastle against Aston Villa. I think Newcastle, men, at home are going to be difficult. Even away from home, we've seen them beat Spurs. But definitely at home, I mean, they're scoring goals for fun. I mean, not so long ago, last year, Newcastle was struggling under the former coach, what's his name? Steve Bruce, man. Now they're scoring goals for fun. They're fourth in the Premier League. I mean, if Spurs, as a chance just slips up, Newcastle overtaking them. I mean, for me, at this point, Newcastle are better than Man United, are better than Chelsea, are a bit better than Spurs. I think because Newcastle haven't lost since August. I mean, they're definitely better than Spurs. I think they are currently, yes, the table might not reflect it, but they're the third best team in England at the moment. I mean, they're playing some cracker football. They're not afraid of anyone. That's the problem. That's the problem big systems will have. Newcastle can go to a big system and say, you know what, if they saw the chance slip up, we can bounce on them. We can play better football than them. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with City. They went toe-to-toe with Liverpool. They went toe-to-toe with United. They defeated Spurs. So, yeah, I mean, they're the third best team. I mean, Amaron, for me, I think he has to get the Player of the Month award. For me, it's always a toss-up between Iwobi and Amaron, but I would definitely give it to Amaron because he's scoring goals for fun. He's scoring beautiful goals. I mean, that Kayla he had, I mean, that's a beautiful goal. I mean, you know what? That's a player, if in the top 6 sides, if he has this season, would I mind it to Chelsea? I mean, I think it would definitely be better than Ziyech or better than Pulisic at Chelsea. I think it definitely will be. But then, of course, I don't think Newcastle will be wanting to let him go. And when you think about it, they don't have Isak at the moment. They don't have St. Maximin at the moment. So Newcastle are definitely a top 4 side. And I think they'll expect to just run through teams again, man. And they've Chelsea in a few game weeks, man. I have to be worried. I'm definitely worried. And then let's talk United. That was an impressive 1-0 win at home against West Ham. I think West Ham are this season, West Ham are definitely an unlucky side. I don't know where they have to tweak it. When I was watching the game yesterday, it felt like there's something missing from them. But then it's difficult to put your hand on it, man. You never know what you can say was missing there. But yeah, I mean, I think Marcus Rashford is definitely back. He's having a season of his. For me at the moment, I think he is definitely United's player of the season. I think it's a toss-up between him and Eriksen and Martinez. And of course, man, David De Gea is back on form. De Gea as a showstopper is definitely up there as the world's best, man. It's only his distribution which I think lets him down from time to time. But as a showstopper, he's definitely a brilliant showstopper, man. I think those dying embers of the game, man, he pulled on some impressive saves. I mean, the last save of the game where he stopped that, what's his name? Where he stopped that Declan Rice shot, man. That was a huge save. I mean, that goal could have easily gone in. And no one would have blamed David De Gea because it was going to be a brilliant goal. I mean, he saw it last minute and he managed to pull off an impressive save. And let me just say, man, on Harry Maguire, I mean, I know everyone is giving Maguire slack, but then yesterday I think he played well. There was that one mistake, I think, where he stepped up and Newcastle hit on a break. Where for me, I don't think he was supposed to step up because he was definitely not winning that ball. And I thought, Maguire is back. But then, yeah, he did pull off some impressive saves, some impressive header, And that stop, I mean, that was clear. I think it was in the 89th minute or 90th minute where Fornals pulled one back. I think that was destined for a goal and he managed to put his leg. I think he hit his thigh or his leg or so, man, or a calf, man. But he had a good game, Maguire. I think Maguire had a good game. I think Martinez is definitely proving to be the mainstay CP and improving everyone around him. That was a brilliant display. And I mean, United, in as much as they aren't at the best at the moment, they are still grinding our results. They're in the top 4. They're number 4. Definitely 3 points ahead of Chelsea. And if they can maintain, if they don't get key injuries to key players, I mean, if Casemiro doesn't get injured, if Eriksen doesn't get injured, I think then you can say United can have that shout for a top 4 finish, man. And then let's talk Arsenal. I think that 5-0 win at home to Nottingham Forest, I mean, that was impressive for Arsenal. I mean, they looked comfortable throughout the game. It's another game I saw. They were comfortable throughout the game. and to have youngsters. I mean, I think the only downside to that win for Arsenal was Saka getting injured. But then Nelson came in, scored 2 beautiful goals, had an assist, I think. And they look strong. I think if an Arsenal fan, the only thing you want is Gabriel Jesus to be scoring goals instead of assisting. In as much as he's assisting, he got 2 assists yesterday, I believe. I think as a number 9, you want him to score goals more, especially against weaker sides like Nottingham Forest, You want him to score goals more. But then Arsenal are proving that they are Premier League title contenders. I mean, we've all known this. But then they're now putting away teams they have to put away in the Premier League, which has always been a falter for Arsenal. I mean, yesterday, we now at a point where we're saying Arsenal drop points when it's just a draw, away from home against Southampton. And Arsenal of the past would have made would have had a difficult game against Forest, but then they're proving that, in as much as they have a young squad, they are so much mature. They are picking up points where they need to. They are scoring goals for fun at home. I mean, they're looking. If you're a Gunners fan, this is the perfect time to be a Gunners fan, man. And then, of course, City, man, KDP, a Haalandless City. I mean, everyone is crying foul in the Fantasy Premier League. I mean, without Haaland, it was a lot of people's captain options. But man, City, I mean, that free kick from KTP, I mean, if not for Haaland, I think KTP would again be the Premier League player of the year, man. Because at some point we were expecting Arsenal to just fold and fall away, and you expect City powered by KTP to just run through teams again, man. But I mean, that free kick was a world-class free kick. I mean, if that was Ronaldo and Messi, and then you say they're the ghost of taking free kicks. I mean, KDP delivered an absolute crack of a free kick, man. And what can you expect? I mean, City, of course, I mean, the 1-0 didn't flatter them, but then I feel like they dominated the game. Yes, in as much as Leicester had some chances here and there, but City did dominate the game, and they shown that, if Arsenal is so as just slip up, I mean, that point is only 1 point? I think it's 1 point now. If Arsenal slip up at any moment and draw another game, they will never catch us. And you're seeing that with City, man. I think City are just impressive. Another result, Brentford won. I think Brentford won, Wolves won. I expected Brentford to win this game, if I'm being honest. I think Wolves are in danger of being relegated, man. I think they're still searching for a coach. They need to find a first team manager as soon as possible, because I think for me they will get relegated, which would be such a shame, man. And I think Costa is back to himself. I mean, Costa is a warrior, he's a fighter. So what did you expect from Costa? I won't comment much because I have a soft spot for Costa, but what did you expect from Costa, man? And then, of course, Fulham versus Everton. Everton threw that game, which was an important draw for Everton. I think that was a massive draw for them. And then, of course, Spurs, man. Spurs versus Bournemouth, man. I mean, Conte was done and dusted in that game. I mean, at some point, Spurs were two goals down. Bournemouth were looking sharp. And if a Spurs fan, in as much as that comeback would have been sweet for you, you have to question Conte's tactics. I mean, why go with the 5 at the back against a team like Bournemouth? Why go with a 5 and 3-man midfield and just 2 strikers? I mean, why not go for a 3-4-3? Yes, I understand the 3 at the back is Conte's style, man. Go for a 3-4-3. Just put 2 midfielders there. Go for a 3-man attacking midfielder. Put pressure on Bournemouth. I mean, if Bournemouth, for me, in as much as Spurs were impressive, Spurs were impressively coming back in the game. I think if Bournemouth, for me, hadn't just sat back and decided to hold on to the 2 goals, they would have definitely got something out of the game. But nonetheless, Spurs, I mean, they pulled it back. In as much as it's impressive, it's not impressive because he had no business being 2 goals down in the first place, if I'm a Spurs fan. So, yeah, man. And then, of course, which other result? Crystal Palace winning against Newcastle, Black Excellency. Patrick Vieira, I mean, that's an impressive victory for them at home. And then, yeah, that was the Premier League, man. I can't wait for Game Week 15. When a team loses, always want the next game to roll apart. But, I mean, to be a scary game, I'm not sure. I think we're against Arsenal. I mean, that's a scary side. If it's not Arsenal, I don't want it to be Newcastle anytime soon. So, yeah, I mean, guys, thank you for checking out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the videos, man. Thank you for those who keep on interacting with me on the channel. I'm enjoying the feedback as much as I can, man. Don't forget to check out. Definitely be giving you a preview of the Champions League and, of course, of Game Week 15 in the Premier League. I mean, man, games are coming thick and fast. Almost half of the games played now. Very soon it will be half of the games. I think they're pushing the game so much that World Cup time, definitely half of the games will have been played, man. So yeah, what can you say? It's the Premier League, the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, English. Don't forget to like the video, man. Check out the channel. I'm your host, signing out. Cheers.